Everybody, Dr. Mark Lewis Johnson Sr. on the campus of New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. And thank you so much for being a part of this amazing journey with us. I am really excited that you are a part of this with us, because one of the things that I think is extremely important with a seminary education is that you take all of the classwork, but if you can't apply it into ministry, you'll come up short every time. And so you have an opportunity to really pour and give in real time some of the things and some of the advice and experiences that you've had in ministry. And I think it'll go a long way. You can see here some of the things that we're going to talk about. I'm going to greet you, give you some information to who I am. We're going to go through ministry expectations, some of your duties, the course information, the course overview, and of course you'll get my information as far as how to contact things. Now, I'm going to go a little bit faster because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in this video, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that you are giving of your time, and that matters to me. So I want to respect your time in all that we do and say, and thank you so much for being a part of this amazing journey with us. Hey, listen, I am a third-generation preacher's kid. Here's my family, my wife Heather, and my 4 kids. My wife is in PhD now. She's doing work in women's ministry, been a part of women's ministry for quite some time. I've been in ministry 28 years, which means she's been a part of this journey in our 26 years of marriage. Went to Washington and Jefferson College. That's where we actually met. There, I currently serve as a trustee of the college and was the first African-American commencement speaker in school's history. And so a lot of things have taken place here. It was there where I got my calling into ministry in 1993. And I've been serving the Lord ever since in campus ministry as a youth minister, a pastor, as associate pastor, and moving on to senior pastor. Hey, listen, when I graduated from Washington and Jefferson College, I played professional basketball. I went straight to Europe and got a chance to play with some amazing guys over there, touring Europe and traveling, trying to make the NBA like all athletes try to do. Got close, but God said that wasn't in his hand for me. And so we continued to serve in ministry and basketball, being again a part of the journey. After coming back from Europe, I served with my father in ministry at the Union Grove Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio. Then I went to Princeton Theological Seminary and finished my 2 degrees, a Master of Divinity and Masters of Theology. Princeton was a wide variety of thought processes and running in contact with so many different people, but it was also there where I served with Metropolitan Baptist Church, Dr. David Jefferson, a mega church experience, over 6,000 members. I think it's up to about 8,000 members now, but having an opportunity to really serve 1,400 young men and women, youth and young adults, and serve as an executive to our pastor was just an amazing experience, and I'll always love the moment that I've shared with him. Also there, believe it or not, he was the vice president of AT&T Broadband Division. So I was exposed to the corporate world because he really wanted to give me a holistic approach to ministry, not just limiting me to church, but also exposing me to some of the higher ups in the corporate world, particularly in New York. Some great experiences that I also bring to this course as well. After serving there in Metropolitan Baptist Church, I was called to serve as senior pastor of Liberty Hill Baptist Church in Cleveland, Ohio. Amazing experience there. A lot of experience as far as getting exposed to what it means to be in the grime and grits and hard nose and on your knees in prayer and back against the wall ministry. It was there serving in ministry where I really began to see all the things that my father and grandfather had gone through in ministry. The advantage for me was I was exposed to it as a kid. So I knew some of the nuances of it. But of course, when you take the hot seat, it's different. But I was able to apply many of the things that my father and grandfather taught me. And now I'm able to bring that to the classroom as well. Encourage Church is another church that I served at. Now, I served Liberty Hill Baptist Church and Encourage Church simultaneously. Encourage Church consisted of all those about 85 young men in the neighborhood who didn't come to church. I wanted to reach out to them. And so I went to the North American Mission Board and I told them, Kevin Ezel's theme was whatever it takes. And so I began to plant a church. I planted a church while pastoring a church. And it was really a basketball church where I got all the guys together and we talked about ministry and, of course, played the game of basketball. The Cleveland Indians, which is now the Cleveland Guardians of the Major League Baseball, caught wind of what we were doing and made me the chaplain of the Cleveland Indians. So it was a phenomenal time. It was there also where I led our church into racial reconciliation in the Southern Baptist Convention. That was the topic of my doctorate of ministry. And so I did a DMin first before doing PhD work. I did a DMin and got a chance to really lead our congregation from the National Baptist to the Southern Baptist Convention. We're dual aligned, but being able to break through some of those racial barriers and tension was so important and critical for ministry along the way. Came to New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary after leaving the pastorate, felt God called to leave the pastorate to go into ministry. And there, I was able to serve the Miami Martins, Tulane's basketball team as their chaplain, and of course the students here at New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. So God really blessed in marvelous ways for me to do ministry, and I look forward to bringing that to this table as well. Ministry expectations. Listen, we don't expect you to teach. That's not what we're here for. We're expecting you to share your ministry experience as it relates to your weekly course content. You're going to get a topic that we'll talk about a little bit later and really get an opportunity to engage your student, your mentee, and give them an opportunity to do a couple of things. Number one, spend quality time. Listen, I understand that the demands on ministry is great because I was a part of the journey that you're on now. If you're pastoring or leading in ministry, I understand the difficulties of the time. However, your expertise is just so invaluable. We need you to provide this insight for our young people. With people leaving the ministry in less than 2 or 3 years, we want to make sure we pour into them in such ways so that they can understand what they are to expect and lower those expectations and be willing to fight. Give the real deal of ministry is one of the things I think is important. Don't candy coat anything. Bring the heat. Remind them of the difficulties in ministry, and in a lot of cases, hit hard. Push hard and challenge your mentees as they begin to think about ministry. If they have lofty expectations of what ministry is supposed to be, please bring them back to reality and let them know what this is really about, how we're really agents and servants of the most of our Savior and King, and we want to do it to the best of our ability. And in that, make it enjoyable. We want them to enjoy experience, so be creative with what that looks like. In your weekly meetings, you don't necessarily have to have it where you're sitting on a seat, they're sitting at a seat and staring at each other. No, be creative in ministry. If you have a hospital visitation and you want them to piggyback off that or have a meeting after that, that'll be great. If you want them to have conversation with you after a sermon, after a Sunday sermon, I know that's difficult, but just be creative with how you communicate, because you don't have to be locked down in a seat, you're in a seat and staring at each other. No, we want it to be creative and fun as well. All right, let's look at some of the duties. Here, you're going to get a mentor agreement form that the student's going to have, covenant goals, mentor training verification, and your weekly meetings. All of those forms, of course, we'll email them to you, but your mentee should have that information for you. You're not responsible for carrying that information around or mailing anything to us. That's on the student. Your job is to be able to look through their covenant goals, fill out your signature, and that information gets sent to us. The students fill out the form. Your job is to engage them along the way. Okay? Let's talk about the course information. Here's some of the things I want you to consider. When we're thinking about the makeup for this course, the purpose is simple. This course is to provide quality theological education to students in the discipline of pastoral ministries in a mentorship environment. That is so key, and this is so important as well. The course will emphasize a learning experience through a practical application of principles of gospel ministry under the guidance of an on-site mentor, and the structure will present, you'll get some teaching, you'll get theological concepts, methodologies, assignments will be written, and so the students will have some things they have to do. They will also get a weekly video from me. And if you want access to the syllabus or any of my weekly videos, I'll be more than happy to share those with you. Shoot me an email, I'll get it to you, or just connect with your mentee and they'll have that information for you as well. You see, we got some reading critiques, we got mentorship hours, strategies. This is a picture of what their grades are going to look like through the course, and we want you to be abreast with that as well. All right, let's do a quick course overview. Here's some of the topics we're going to cover. We're going to look at ministry conflict, handling burnout, biblical foundations, ministry cohesion, family ministry, leadership. The list goes on and on. So each week, when you come together and have a topic, your student will bring the topic to you. You will have that discussion. It'll typically be laced with some kind of scenario that you can have a discussion around. And so it won't be just a cold meeting. It'll be a warm meeting where I'll have a conversation with them through the week. They'll bring something to the table and you'll have a discussion around that around your experience. So we're trying to make it balanced so that individuals can really get an understanding of what's going on. Then lastly, this is my information. You can contact me at any time, day or night. I mean, literally, you can text me at any time. If you want to go to my website and see what's going on there, you're more than welcome to do that. But I really am excited about this moment that we can share in ministry. And I'm praying for you on the journey. And please let us know how we can help. Listen, I have students right now who are serving in ministry. They're calling me just so they can get a break. So there's times I'm going in, I'm teaching, times I'm going in and I'm preaching. Listen, we serve the Southern Baptist Convention, not just this seminary. You are a part of that, and we want to serve you. So anything that I can do to help with your teaching or preaching or anything that you need help in and serving in ministry, I'd be more than happy to support you all along the way. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I look forward to what God has in store for all of us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And may God bless you and keep you in his perfect peace.